Hey guys, this is Dave,
This is Mike,
and we're the Game & Watch Bros. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do an unboxing of... Four unboxings of one of my favorite shows, Scrubs. And we got the entire set that has been released thus far.
We got Turkleton, we got Lassie, we got Barbie, and then we got the Coxinator.
Now, if you guys aren't familiar with those names, the chief of medicine called him Turkleton, because that's what he thought his name was, instead of Christopher Turk. JD, or as my wife loves calling him, John Dorian, was called several female names by Dr. Cox. One of the names he called him was Lassie, when Dr. Cox found out that JD was trying to make out with his dead stuffed dog. So he started calling him dogs' names, and to ease him into the transition of dogs' names, he called him Lassie, because A, it was a female name, and B, was a dog's name. Barbie was the nickname that Dr. Cox had for Elliot. Elliot Reed, correct. And then there is Dr. Cox, the Coxinator. That is what JD's older brother called him because it annoyed him to no end. So those are where those nicknames came from, a little bit of history. I know nothing about the TV show. I just own all 8 seasons.
And watches it at least once a year.
Yes, that is true. It is a tradition of mine to watch the entire series, episode 1 of season 1 to the terrible, terrible last season, where they tried to rejuvenate the show.
Kind of like me and Weeds. Love Weeds. Anyway, moving on.
You know, that is a good show. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and unbox them. Now, I put them in this order kind of ironically. The reason is because JD and Turk are heterosexual life mates. Elliot actually becomes JD's wife later in the series. And then Dr. Cox, which is the mentor to all 3 of them, which he begrudgingly hates. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over Dr. Cox. Now, he is a pop. Pops don't have the greatest amount of detail. People love them because just mainly...
collectibles.
Right, they're a collectible item. They come in a vast assortment of shows and animes and mangas and cartoons. As you can see, I've got a huge collection of Power Rangers. I've got X-Men. I've got Predators. You know, over there I've got Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super figures. So I love the Pops just because of nostalgia of the shows that they're in. The first thing right off the bat is I love the fact that they gave him his curly hair. That is one of the main things about Dr. Cox. Most of the show, he keeps his hair pretty short. In fact, he keeps it about mine and Mike's length. He only lets it grow out when he's in crisis and doesn't know what to do. Next is Elliot, aka Barbie. Now, the first thing that I like about her is they gave her the later haircut. The earlier haircut was kind of longer hair, kind of a childish haircut. She used ponytails and pigtails to kind of show the fact that she wasn't maturely grown up. As the series progressed, she grew up, she became more of an adult, more of a professional, a better doctor. She changed her hair to signify that she had changed. My wife doesn't really agree with that because in the episode it kind of makes it seem like she had changed her appearance so others would accept her. I believe that she had changed her appearance to show the others that she has changed. Not so much for their acceptance, but just to say, hey, I've had a epiphany. I'm different. I'm ready. I can handle shit now. So that's why I like the haircut. It has her in the traditional light blue scrubs, which I really like. It shows the fact that she's a professional doctor. Now, the next one is JD, John Dorian. The show centers around this character. The thing that I like about this is JD goes through many changes throughout the show as he tries to figure out who he is, what he wants, and how he is in his life. The thing that I like about this is it's got the traditional darker blue scrubs, which is what he starts the show out as. Anyone that's seen the show knows that his hair is very important to him. In fact, that is why Dr. Cox gives him as much grief and calls him girls' names, because he does spend so much time on his hair. Another thing I love about this is he has his hands in his pockets to signify his kind of carefree attitude. You know, he doesn't have his arms crossed like Dr. Cox. He doesn't have a clipboard like Elliot. He's just got his hands in his pocket like he's going to take life as it comes. And then, Mike?
You got Turk.
And then we've got Christopher Turkleton, as Mike calls him. But his name is Chris Turk. This is kind of peculiar that they took on Turk because the beard that he's growing is actually something that he had later in the series. Christopher, honestly...
That's not true. He had it at the start because he covered up the mole.
No, he had the mustache.
That's right.
He had a mustache most of the show. The beard didn't come until later after he had his daughter...
Isabella.
Right, Izzy. But Christopher actually changes the least amount in the show. And the reason is because the show starts with Chris knowing what he wants. Knowing what he wants to do, knows what he wants out of life. And he's gonna go out and he's gonna capture it. From day one, he says that he's going to eventually become the chief of surgery, and he does. He does become the chief of surgery. He says that he's going to marry Carla, which is the first girlfriend that he has in the show, and he does. He goes out and he marries Carla.
There were no water balloons.
Right. Another scene from Scrubs where Turk... cheats with JD's girlfriend, but says that they're in bed naked together because they had a water balloon fight, lacking the evidence of a water balloon fight.
It pops up multiple times.
Multiple times. He eventually admits to cheating with JD's girlfriend, but like I said, they are heterosexual life mates, so they get past it. He forgives them, but you know. The thing that I love about this figure is he's wearing the traditional green scrubs that Turk wears. The thumbs up that he's got there is the right attitude that Turk normally has throughout the show, because he's like, you know, hey, I've got this. Learn by doing. And he does through most of the show. He doesn't hesitate when it comes to taking a chance. And that's kind of the attitude that the figure's showing, with the hand on his hip and the thumb in the air, because he's ready to take things on. Again, I think it's kind of weird that they chose to go with the beard, because like I said, it is something later in the show, but they did choose to have the beard. Now, like I said, I am a huge lover of the show. That is my take of the figures. I'm sure we've been doing this for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I've done all the talking. So what I'd like to do now is give Mike a chance to tell us what he thinks of the Scrubs Pops.
So, I haven't watched the show as much as he has. I certainly haven't seen the last season. I'm not even
You're not
sure if
missing
I've seen
much.
all of the good seasons. But, you know, like you said, he's got Cox with his kind of grown out hair, kind of looks permy almost, with his crossed arms, trying to be like, I'm the bad boy rebel that does things my way, but he actually cares about the way things work. You got Elliot with her, like I said, the shorter hair, kind of like trying to say that I now know what I want, I'm doing this shit for myself attitude. You got JD with his kind of not sure exactly what he wants. He's just kind of going with the flow. And then, like I said, the Turk that's kind of like, all right, let's do this. Like David said, he takes the chances. He does the more risky stuff. Like there was some lady that wanted to do a surgery, but instead of using anesthetic, she wanted to use hypnosis. And so he's like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, it took a little bit of convincing. As any great leader knows, it takes a little bit of convincing from their better half to do things that they're not quite sure of. But Carla does eventually convince Turk to go through with the surgery because it's good publicity for the hospital. It's good publicity for him. And it kind of shows what he's been doing the entire show, that I'll do anything.
But yeah, I mean, they're real great figures. Pop Vinyl always does really good figures. They went with more of like a stance to show off more of the character, which is kind of unique. I don't think a lot of them have done that. Like you've got the Power Rangers, they're just kind of standing there.
I agree. I didn't pay attention to that till now. You know, as I've been going over these figures, I'm like, wow, why am I able to pull so much detail from the Scrubs figures that I couldn't from our other Pops? And you know, it's because take Tommy without the helmet, for example. There's no emotion there. His stance is not much different than, say, Kimberly's without the helmet, or Jason's without a helmet. Yet they're definitely different characters. You know, the Predator Pops look almost identical. So that's why I'm able to pull so much detail, just because the stances are so much different from each other and their outfits are so much different. It's like they're trying to tell a story with these figures. So I don't know if that's Funko maturing or, you know, it just this series. We'll definitely find out as we introduce more Pops to you guys. I know we're going to have more unboxings of Pops. In fact, we've got unboxing of Full Metal Alchemist coming up. So we'll check those out and see if they kind of tell the same story. Do you have anything more you'd like to say?
No. In fact, just pointing a little more, like the Scooby-Doo and the Crypto is literally the exact same Pop.
You want to grab Crypto behind you? So here's my Scooby-Doo.
It is almost the exact same model.
Almost identical. I mean, you take the ears, you swap them around.
The tail, we'll swap it around.
You know, the tail, Scooby's tail is a little bit thicker than Crypto's, but essentially,
yeah,
same figure. So I don't know if it's because Funko is maturing, or again, it's just these figures. I don't know if the Scrubs had any pull on what their figures look like, but definitely I think these ones tell a story, and I think they do so beautifully.
Yeah.
And this may be my favoritism of the show coming in, but these definitely, out of all of my Pops, including Superman, who is my favorite superhero, I definitely have to say these are my favorite series thus far.
Definitely. I think with the Pops, you have to really like the show to really like the figure you get. But I think with them actually showing more of like an emotional, with just the way they stand or whatever, how they hold themselves, it definitely adds more character to it. So it gives you more incentive to like them right off the bat.
Oh, I completely agree. You know, you definitely aren't going to pick up one or the entire set of the Scrubs Pops if you don't like the show. You know, you definitely have to have some tie to the show. And I think if you like Scrubs, you don't even have to like it as much as I like it. Just have a decent grasp on it like Mike does. you can appreciate the story that each figure tells.
Yep.
But I think we've droned on enough about these figures. We want to thank you for checking them out. I picked up the entire set from our friends over at Collector Zone. Their website will be in the description down below if you want to pick up this set. Like I said, we also picked up the Full Metal Alchemist set from them. They have several other Pops, as well as Mezco toys, as we've done unboxings of. Sideshow collectibles here within the next 6 months or so. Hopefully I'll be getting my Guyver statue from Sideshow Collectibles, which I'm super excited about, and we'll show that to you guys as well. But definitely go on over to Collector Zone. Check them out. They've got wonderful products, wonderful prices. They're very customer centric. Their customer service is fantastic. So check them out, and definitely we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for hanging out with the Game & Watch Bros. And if you like what you saw, please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that little bell so you don't miss any content. Also, we love it when you guys comment, so do so below.